Hello everybody, I'm going to give you a top 10 list of 10 unintentional horror movies. Number 10. This movie seems relatively harmless, even including that it's a rated R movie. There isn't really enough in the movie to give it a rated R. If I were a part of the Movie Ratings Associate program, I would give this movie a PG rating, even though there's a lot of blood in it. There's not really enough in this movie to give it a rated R, but Sweeney Todd. Sweeney Todd is one of those unintentional, scary movies. Now, I'll tell you why it's one of those unintentional, scary movies. True. It has a lot of great music in it, like, the beginning, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, which is the Telling Tale of Sweeney Todd, except they don't sing it, and Pretty Women, Fascinating, a lot of great songs in there, including The Worst Pies of London. That was probably a really bad rendition of that, but it's an unintentional scary movie, because if you really think about it, these are simple guys going for a shave, probably on their break from work, and this guy just fucking kills them for no reason. He just kills them. And what's even worse, their bodies are put into meat pies made by the bakeress in the kitchen. That's pretty terrifying if you ask me. Number 9. Now, Steven Spielberg made 2 films which became unintentional horror movies. I don't see them as horror movies, but everyone else does. Number 9. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Now, Close Encounters of the Third Kind is an action-adventure film with sci-fi, just like E.T. E.T. Phone Home. While E.T. is more of a drama in a lot of ways, where this alien is trying to find his way home, Close Encounters of the Third Kind is a quite different story. It takes place near Roswell, California. And just weird shit happens throughout the whole movie. They can't explain it, it just happens. And by the end of the movie, you see this UFO just go into space. And isn't that kind of creepy in a lot of ways, where you could be secretly being tested on in your own home while you're sleeping by aliens, and you have no idea they're doing this to you until the end of the movie? This is the only film that I could see an intentional scary film, unlike number 8, where I don't see it's a scary film whatsoever. It's more of an action-adventure, if you ask me. Jaws. Now, when this movie came out, before the movie came out, it was a book written by Peter Bailey, who wrote The Exorcist, and yes, he wrote Jaws as well. And Peter Bailey, what he did was, when he wrote this book, he loosely based it on true events that happened in New Jersey, where people were mysteriously going missing after a shark, a freshwater shark. They're extinct. They're not in existence anymore. They were all killed off. Just 8 people. The only one of its kind to be an actual man-eater. And so Peter Bailey loosely based it on this true story. Steven Spielberg read the book, called Peter Bailey, and he said, hey, I want to make this into a movie, but I don't want to make it into a horror movie. I want to make it into an action-adventure film. And he said, okay, that's fine with me. And it really is an action-adventure film at sea. That's what Jaws is, but everyone else sees it as a scary film, because when it came out, people were terrified of going back in the water after seeing this movie. So Steven Spielberg and said, Okay, whatever. It was well received, but still not a scary movie. It's an action-adventure film, but whatever. Number 7. Now, number 7, to me, it's more scary than funny. Child's Play. Now, it's considered a slasher classic, I get it. But it's more of a horror movie, really, because if you have something that you love so much and that it just wants to kill you for no reason except the fact that your prized possession has the soul of a serial killer. Now, this was supposed to be originally a horror slash comedy. It was supposed to make fun of cliches in horror films while putting them in, but at the same time, what ended up happening was it scared people. And it was their intention to creep them out a little, but not completely scare them. And from that point on, I think people had have a fear of their things just staring at them at night, because people don't know what's gonna happen to them. You might want to check if your doll behind you has a knife or something. Number 6. Number 6, now, this film was not supposed to be a horror movie. In all honesty, it wasn't. It was supposed to be a comedy. Mars Attacks. This film was supposed to be a parody of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. But in this movie, it's just scary. I can't explain it. It's funny towards the end. Other than that, it's scary throughout the whole movie for some reason. I mean, you see the brains and all that, and then the face is like this. I mean, that's scary. Number 5. Now, number 5. This is from my list of unintentional scary movies. I don't know how to talk about this one. I have to delicately coax myself into talking about it, because I know I'm going to scare myself shitless later thinking about this movie. My number 5 selection is, just want to make sure. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Now, no, not the TV show. There's a movie, an independent film from the 1980s. It was a TV movie called Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. And this was supposed to be a light comedy making fun of horror movies. While in retrospect, it's the most fucking scary film you will ever see. It scarred me. And when I was 13, I found this movie online because I was on a horror kick, and I like horror films. I like watching scary movies from time to time, but this movie is so fucking scary I can't even go into detail. I have to drink non-alcoholic beer later to shake that off my head. Number 4. Jaws 3. Jaws 3 was supposed to be, at that point, a thriller. After Steven Spielberg said, it's not really an action, well, what the hell, I'll make them all thrillers at this point. Steven Spielberg, what he did was, he put this in 3D. And it took place at a SeaWorld type place. And in this version, Dennis Quaid is in this movie. You're thinking, wasn't he in a movie before he was in You Shake My Nose and You Round My Breath? And Too Much Love, that man saying. He played Jerry Lee Lewis in Great Balls of Fire, but in this movie he plays one of Chief Brody's sons. This was before the younger brother gets eaten to death in the fourth one. But in this third one, I think Peter Brody is the older one, and he's a SeaWorld trainer, but they let in the mother of all sharks, the mother of all great whites in the Jaws series, in the SeaWorld type area, and just shit goes down. It's an unintentional scary film. It is. But if you're visiting an aquarium, especially an aquarium that's underwater, a man-made water, and this fucking shark just goes berserk and tries to kill the people in the walk areas, that's kind of creepy. Number 3. Hellraiser. Hellraiser, in all retrospect, to me, is actually scary. A lot of people are like, oh, this movie isn't scary, it doesn't have any blood in it. No, it's scary. Now, granted, Hellraiser isn't as vicious as all the other killers out there, like Jason, Freddy, Michael. Not at all. He's actually quite decent. He gives you a chance to change something in your life before he actually takes your soul. So, in retrospect, he's a good negotiator. But just the fact that this guy, out of the blue, knows that he did something bad, he comes and, I'm going to take your soul. Well, and that's scary. You can lie to somebody and Hellraiser's in front of you. I'm going to take your soul. Try sleeping with the lights out after watching that movie. Number 2. Number 2 was supposed to be psychological horror film. It's more like a psychological terror fest. Whatever happened to Baby Jane? This movie is a Bette Davis film. Now, granted, she did what she could with the part. She made it at least scary to watch, but really, that and the African Queen, not her greatest movies, but the storyline itself is still scary to this day. And the number 1 unintentional scary movie of all time has to go to The Doll. That's right. I just can't go into words. Look up Trilogy Terror the Doll. You'll be terrified. That's all I'll say. You'll be terrified. See you guys.